Hello my loves, it's Anna and welcome back to my channel. So this year I've actually decided not to do my usual back to school or back to university haul and a packing video just because I end up getting so much stuff that I do not use and it ends up being a right pain carrying it around in my bag or even my rucksack, and I just wish that I'd ended up just sticking with the essentials. And seeing as I am now going into my third year of university, I've had about enough time to work out what you really need and what you don't need for school, college, university. So I'm going to tell you all of my essential items that you need for this September. But before we get into it, if you are new or haven't clicked that subscribe button, what are you doing? You need to click it now for all things uni, lifestyle, vlogs. There really is just a little bit of something for everyone. And also, if you do like the sound of today's video, make sure to give it a massive thumbs up so I know to make more videos like this. So I've broken the video down into little categories with all of the timestamps below. So we're gonna cover stationery, apps and resources, electronics, beauty, and some miscellaneous special items. So we are literally covering everything you're gonna need. The first category is, of course, stationery, and number one, we have a small little pencil case. Now, over the years, I've had some huge pencil cases, and it means that you just end up carrying around a load of stuff that you don't actually need. Whereas having a small pencil case with just all the essential bits and bobs that you need is so handy to just slip into your bag, take to lectures. It doesn't take up any room, it's not heavy to carry, and it also means you're not faffing around just to try and find a pen in your mass amount of stationery. It literally has all the basics all in one place. Very importantly, within this pencil case, you're gonna want good pens that you like. Now, my all-time favorite is the Uniball iFine pen. I just absolutely love writing with this pen. I love what it makes my handwriting look like. I find it really relaxing to write with. I love the ink, but then I also really like this Papermate Flex Grip Ultra 1.0 pen because this doesn't take any time to dry, so it's just a really handy pen for things like that. Now, next up, we have two things I literally couldn't live without, and that is, first of all, these little page markers. Now, these are so fab for just marking up textbooks, but you can also mark up pages in your notepad, in your diary. They come in so handy. And then also linked with this, we of course have Post-it notes. Now, yes, I am that person that literally writes myself reminders all around my room, on my mirrors, but I also love just if a thought comes into my head or something that I want to remember, I write it on there. And then also academically, they come in so helpful for sticking on library textbooks where you can't actually write on the pages. I always pop a little Post-it note and write notes in here. Now, the next one, if you are subscribed, is going to come as absolutely no surprise, and that is of course my diary, which I use as a planner, and I literally just write everything in my paper diaries. This was my one for last year and this is my one for this year, and they of course are from Papier, which I actually have a little discount code which I'll pop up here, but I just am obsessed with their designs, and having a really cute diary to organise your life with is honestly crucial to get yourself sorted for the next academic year. I write absolutely everything down in these, from social events to lectures to homework to YouTube things that I need to do. I just love having it all in one place, and I have tried electronic diaries and it's just not the same as being able to get down all of my thoughts and plans onto paper. Now, next up, we have a small notebook. Now, as you're going to see, I actually do all of my work online and try to keep as much of my notes on online resources as possible. However, it is so handy to have a little notebook for where you don't want to do that bit of work online or you just need a spare piece of paper. My favourites are the kinds where you can actually rip out the paper after you've used it, just because for me this keeps the notebook itself so much neater. Again, another exception to my online only notes are little flashcards of things that I really cannot remember. Because I'm dyslexic, I really love these coloured ones, and my favourite is actually blue just because it helps me see things better better, but I also think you can coordinate things really nicely by different subjects onto different cards. And then I also have this little folder where I can just pop my flashcards into, so that when I put them in my bag, they're not all crumpled and damaged before I've even used them. Now the next one, of course, is very important to me, and that is my to-do list. Now I've tried hundreds of different types of to-do lists over the years, but I find the best ones really are the most simple, with potentially a urgent section at the bottom. And how I use this is every evening at the very end of the day, I go through and write my to-do list for the next day and roughly time block how I'm going to do everything. And of course, the last couple of things that have to be in your essential pencil case are, first of all, highlighters. Now, no, I'm not saying for you to go through and highlight your textbooks, highlight your notes and try and revise like that, because hopefully you know that is really not a very efficient revision technique, and there are much better ways of learning out there. However, I find these so handy to highlight important things on my to-do list or highlight things on my diary, just to make things look more colourful. This is literally the best thing in the entire world. Tipp-Ex takes forever to dry, it can be really messy, I get really annoyed, I end up just rewriting my notes, whereas this is so neat, dries instantly, and means that any mistakes can literally be completely covered up, vanished. Now the next section is all of my trusty apps and resources, and the first one you have to get is Forest. And Forest you can use on your phone or iPad, and it basically means you grow your little trees with a timer, and if you go on your phone or your iPad, then the tree dies, and it's literally the saddest thing ever. Trust me, it's a lot more emotional than it sounds, and it really forces you not to want to go onto your phone or break the timer, because you can grow different types of trees, you can collect coins that all go in your pretty little forest and show how much deep focus time you've had. When it is so tempting nowadays just to go on a scroll, whenever I literally look on my phone, I end up on there for 15 minutes and it's just a complete waste of my time. Whereas having my little Forest app really stops me doing that. Now next up we have a good note-taking app. Like I've been banging on about, I try to have all of my notes online. However, to do this, you really do need to find a way and a resource that works best for you. At the moment, I'm absolutely loving Notion, and going into the new year, I'm going back to Notion. However, a couple of my other favourites have been Notability and OneNote, because over the years, I've probably literally tried every single one out there. You name it, I've tried it. I do find they all have their pros and cons and slightly different advantages. However, you've just got to trial and error and work out what works best for you. Now, the next resource is actually for all of my medics out there, and I couldn't not include one of my all-time favourite resources for medicine, and that is of course KenHub, who are somehow actually sponsoring today's video, and I always feel so lucky to be working with brands that I absolutely love and have literally saved my life over the last couple of years. But if you haven't heard of KenHub, they are an amazing online learning resource for anatomy, histology, and even clinical imaging. They combine so many different learning strategies to actually make studying fun. Yes, I promise it doesn't actually have to be really boring and bland when you have these amazing labelled diagrams, unlabelled diagrams to label yourself, personalised quizzes, and even video tutorials to follow. One of my favourite parts about KenHub is they break down the entire human body into these really easy to follow study units, which has everything you need to learn on that specific part, all in one place. This just makes the whole of anatomy seem so much less overwhelming, and they end each one with this really easy to follow summary chart, so you can really clearly see everything that you need to know. You can then go and use the custom quizzes to of course use active recall, which we all know is one of the most efficient revision techniques. They even have the best muscle reference charts, which came in so handy for my muscles module, where you need to know the origins, insertions, functions, innovation. Now I've actually managed to get you all a 10% discount code, which will be in the description box below, so you can enjoy a KenHub Premium, because trust me, it is one of my biggest essentials for medicine, and you do not want to miss out on this amazing resource. Now, it wouldn't be an essentials video without mentioning my final resource, which is of course Anki. Now, if you've watched my vlogs, you will know I'm obsessed with Anki, and having everything on flash flashcards saves me so much time because I actually don't write proper notes at medical school. Instead, I have everything on Anki, which has the best spaced repetition algorithm and tells you when you need to do your cards and gets you really organized for exams. But I do have a whole video on that if you want to see a tutorial on how to use Anki and how I use it at medical school or university. I put it somewhere here. Now the next category is electronics, and no, I'm not going to claim to be some sort of gadget guru. However, these are my 3 essential electronics which I really couldn't get through studying without. And first off, we have some sort of noise cancelling wireless headphones. These are my very well loved AirPods, and if you see me, I've probably got these in. I wear them far too much. I wear them to walk to university, I wear them when I'm studying, I wear them when I'm listening to lectures, I wear them when I'm literally doing yoga in my room, because I just love that you can cancel the noise out and feel like you are anywhere. When maybe you're in the busiest place trying to study, you can just have your relaxing waterfall music on or instrumental music on and pretend like no one is there. Now the next one is actually an external hard drive, and you might be looking at this thinking, what on earth is this? Because I had no idea either, but this is basically a giant memory stick and has 1 TB of storage. Yep. Don't ask me how much that is, but it is an awful lot. And I never really saw a need to get one before I had all of these YouTube videos which I needed to store, and these are the best place for it. However, now I store everything on here, from all of my documents that I don't need anymore, all of my photos from my camera. When you have a lot more documents at university, a lot more files, this is the best thing to carry around and just store your whole life on here. And the last one, unfortunately, is a very expensive one, and I am very aware that I'm very privileged and lucky to have one, but that is a laptop or an iPad. Like I said, it is game-changing having all of your notes online. I always get the question, would I recommend my iPad or my laptop? And it's a really difficult one because they both have their pros and cons, and I'm lucky enough to actually have both, and I use them a lot together. However, if I really was put in the spot, then my laptop would always come up trumps. And that is just because although it is handier to have a slightly smaller, lighter, more portable device like the iPad, and I also love the Apple Pencil and being able to have handwritten notes or highlighting things online is really helpful. There still are a couple of things that the iPad cannot do that the laptop can do, just because of the better software. It's also just faster and overall just better. I really couldn't live without my laptop, whereas if I didn't have my iPad, it wouldn't be a disaster. So laptop over iPad, but if you are in a position where, say, you've already got a laptop and you're thinking about getting an iPad, I would really recommend them. Now the next section is my favourite little beauty bits, which I always keep in a little separate mini sponge bag in whatever bag I'm carrying on me. First off, we have a mini hairbrush, and that is either my Tangle Teaser. I also love my mini wet brush, or just a little mini brush of any sort. You are going to be everyone's best friend if you are carrying around a hairbrush. My hair gets so natty, or I just need to tie it up, or I want to take it down. I brush my hair probably too many times a day, but I always need one on me. Literally heard everyone say this a million times, but nowadays you really do just need hand sanitizer on you. I cannot go anywhere without this. And linked with this is a mini little hand cream. When you're putting hand sanitizer on all the time or washing your hands a lot, your hands get so dry, and having some hand cream with me really prevents me getting really sore, red, dry hands. Next is trusty little Vaseline, or just any of your favorite little lip balms. Again, my lips get so dry all of the time. A mini packet of tissues has been a lifesaver over the years. You never know when you're gonna spill something you need to clear it up, or just need a tissue, or a friend needs a tissue. And finally, a bit of a rogue one is a strip of paracetamols. I don't know whether this is the doctor within me, but I really love being that person. If anyone's feeling a bit ill, they've got a headache, they've got really bad period cramps, or they're just in a lot of pain, it's really handy to have a strip of paracetamols for you or for any of your friends that just happen to need one. And my final section is my favourite section, and that is all my miscellaneous bits and bobs and all of the special things that you will not have thought about, but I literally cannot live without. And first off, we have my trusty water bottle. You will see this come with me everywhere. I'm really anti buying plastic water bottles, and having a refillable one is so useful. Now the next one one might seem obvious to some people, but I spent so many years without a watch until I got this one for my 21st, which I absolutely love. But now I could not live without walking down the street and not just being able to check the time when I'm revising it, being able to just look at my watch without having to get my phone out. There are so many cute affordable watches out there, and I love the Daniel Wellington designs, or you could literally just get a really cheap little watch, or if you've got an Apple Watch, wear that. But just having the time on you at all times is really important. Next is a mini little umbrella that's just going to slot and stay in your bag, really light and not chunky and get in the way, because if you live in England, it is going to have a torrential downpour out of nowhere, and the last thing you want is to get soaking wet walking to wherever you're going. Now the next one is a separate alarm clock, and we all know how important getting a good amount of sleep is. However, before I got my trusty Lumi, I used to set my alarm on either my iPad or my phone, and it just meant that I stayed on my electronics for longer because I knew I had to set my alarm from there in the evening. However, having a separate alarm means I have no excuse to stay on my electronics, and just has helped me had a much better sleep pattern. Also with the Lumis, I love that you wake up to a more natural light. However, you don't have to have anything as fancy as that. Literally, a little alarm clock does the job perfectly, but having something separate to all electronics has been so important to help my sleep. Next up, we have a pair of blue light glasses, and I love these designs from Quay. Now, I'm one of those people that is honestly on screens all of the time, whether it's my laptop for doing notes, rewatching lectures, staring at my phone, or literally just watching at the TV. I'm exposed to so much blue light, and I really did used to get some nasty headaches from this. However, since I got my blue glasses, I try to wear them as much as possible, and it does seem to have really helped, and also just makes my eyes feel more rested. Now again, something that's going to hopefully get us to buy less plastic is a little tote bag, always in whatever bag you're carrying. They fold up so smallly and come in so handy for, say, you do end up quickly popping to the shops on the way back home, or you just need a little bit of extra space that's not going to fit in your bag. I've never seen anywhere without a tote bag. I've so many of these, and I find they're really lovely gifts as well for if you're traveling to give to a friend. Next up is a nice lanyard. Now obviously this isn't going to be relevant for everyone because you might not have a little fob or anything, but in my sixth form and also in university, we have to have our little passes with us everywhere we go, and if you lose this, it is literally the end of the world. And the last one I've never heard anyone talking about, but that is actually a card holder. Now this is actually a fake one for when I went traveling, before you think, Anna, who on earth has a Louis Vuitton card holder as a student? But I just love keeping all of my cards that I need on me. I always have some sort of ID as well, because you never know when you're going to need it, and this just means it takes up so much less room than a purse. If you're wearing pockets, you can sometimes slip it into that. It's just really handy to have all the cards that you really need as essentials on you. They're all neatly stored in a card holder of any description. It doesn't have to be a fancy one. So those are all of my back to school essentials, but if I have missed anything off the list, make sure you comment it below so we can get a full-blown checklist going for everyone in September. But best of luck everyone starting with the new academic year. I know you're gonna do amazing. See it as a really new, exciting, fresh start with so much ahead of you, and I hope you'll have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you all so soon. Bye!